Hi everybody, it's Phil, the Big Geek with Geek Omelet, and I'm here with a video after a brief break for the holiday and the new year. I'm back. I hope you missed me. I miss talking about this kind of stuff with you guys, and so let's get into it. Today I'm talking to you about a mic I found over the holidays that it's not a new mic. In fact, after purchasing it for a tremendously good price on Amazon.com, in fact, let's go take a look at it so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the CAD E50. This is CAD Audio's, I gotta think it's their take on the very famous, widely well-regarded AKG C414. There are a lot of variations of it out there. This is a microphone that has an MSRP normally of around $199. You go look at it at places like right here. This is Full Compass Audio. They've got it for $149.99, and you can see that they've actually got the MSRP listed as $209.99. At that price, I don't know. There are a lot of really amazing variations of the AKG C414, including a very popular one that utilizes both an electric 25 or 26 millimeter capsule from Bifaley. They also make a 34 millimeter version of it, which is what is in this particular microphone. But this is the CAD E50. Let's take a look at it. This is the E50 right here. And as you can see, this is the box that it comes in, only I'm talking on the microphone right now, so you're not going to see an unboxing or an unpacking. Okay, but let's take a look. The microphone itself has got a really good sound. It's got a full range driver on it. The manufacturer is claiming a very wide dynamic range. Actually, I think they've got it listed as doing 20 to 20. It certainly hits the bottom end and has a nice high end, although I don't actually think that that's the spec. Let's take a look at a more detailed website. We're going to utilize the B&H website because, as I said, this microphone, although it hasn't been officially announced as discontinued, it's showing discontinued in multiple places, including online, and it has been pulled from the CAD Audio official site. So this is B&H, and you can see here they've got no longer available on the listing. It is an attractive microphone. I think it's an interesting take on the AKG C414 design. So it is a condenser microphone. It's a 34 millimeter microphone. It is a side address mic, and here's the important stuff. It's got a frequency range of 20 to 20 kilohertz. It's got a maximum SPL of 130. It's a sensitive microphone for a large diaphragm capsule. And of course, this is an XLR microphone. It is a plosive happy microphone. So here's the microphone without the included pop filter on it. Peter Piper picked. Yeah, it's pretty much useless when you're talking directly into it. But put the pop filter on. Peter Piper picked. There you go. Paul and Pauline played Parcheesi on the porch while eating pizza with pineapple on it. The included foam pop filter does a remarkable job on curbing those plosives, so I highly recommend it. I also highly recommend some mic technique with it, and I'm going to show you a couple of things here in a minute. The microphone is a cardioid polar pattern, so as you start getting off axis, you'll be able to hear. So this is me talking, I'm going off axis. So right about here, it's a pretty wide polar pattern, but right about here, the pattern starts to drift off. So that is a pretty wide cardioid polar pattern that they've got here. But still, it is cardioid. Now, here's one of the interesting things that I find, and this is one of the things I love about microphones, is it's about positioning, right? The gut instinct is to place the mic level and get the capsule mouth level, right? I am actually about 6 inches from the capsule. I'm about a fist away. And, you know, you would feel like this would be good positioning, but this is what I found. What's interesting is tilting the microphone down just a bit and talking over the top of it. I think, on my voice anyway, it highlights a lot of what I like about my voice, and diminishes some of the things. I tend to have a sibilant voice. I know I do. I have to be conscious and aware when I'm talking about, the and things that I say, and also popping noises. My mouth, it's pop happy. So positioning the microphone can do a remarkable job. And I think on my voice, getting the mic down, getting that capsule a little bit more toward my chest, upper chest, and talking over it, but not directly at it, really makes a huge difference in the way this microphone sounds. And I think on my voice, it overall has a very pleasant sound. Now, the question is, and let's go back to the website here real quick. The question is, if you were to buy this microphone at the price it's selling for, places like Full Compass, they're selling this thing for $149.99. Do I think that this microphone is worth spending $149.99 on? No, I do not think this microphone is worth spending $149.99 on. I think CAD makes better sounding microphones than this does. Again, not to say that this is a bad sounding microphone. I don't think it's a bad sounding microphone, but they make better sounding microphones that I think on my voice and on the voices of other creators that have reviewed these things for years, they just sound better on. And you don't have to believe me. Go check out. There are a lot of great videos from folks like Bark, Audio Hotline. So you can take a look and see what Clay Allen is talking about. There's a lot of different reviewers that have covered. I'm not sure if every one of those have covered CAD, but there are tons of reviews out there. This is not a new microphone brand. My point is if you were going to spend $149, you can get an AKG microphone. You don't need to get CAD's interpretation of an AKG microphone. And not only that, but a, if you will, scaled down version, because the actual AKG C414, which is much more expensive than $149, also has, I believe, a 5-position adjustable polar pattern switch. There we go. There's that pop, that mouth noise. And this is very sensitive to it. This is one of the things that actually it brings up a point. One of the things I don't like about this particular microphone, and it has to do with how it handles the upper, mid, and upper frequencies. But we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Let's go back to the microphone itself. So you know what? We'll stay on the Full Compass website. As you can see, it is an attractive looking microphone. It does share a very common design with the AKG mic, but they've changed the grill quite a bit. It is got a sort of blackish gray grill on the back and silver grill on the front. It's got visually what is an incredibly appealing shock mount. And the shock mount does come with it. It's incredibly well built. I'll try and get some B-roll in here of the shock mount. Actually, you know what? Why don't we just get a little bit closer here, and that's what we'll do. So here's the shock mount, right? It is I've never actually tried this before. This is this isn't something new that I've added to it. As you can see, I'm talking almost directly into the side of the microphone, and it still is picking up my voice quite well as I look at myself in my monitor over here to the left. It's an attractive shock mount. It is a metal shock mount, but unfortunately, despite it being incredibly attractive and incredibly well built as shock mounts go, it doesn't do a very good job doing the very basic thing that a shock mount is meant to do. And this is my first complaint about the microphone. Let's touch my okay, so this is just me tapping on the mic stand, on the mic pole, tapping on the shock mount. Now I'm going to tap on the mic body. So it's pretty resonant as far as the mic body goes. And I don't think it does a very good job of isolating the microphone from those vibrations. It basically is transmitting all those vibrations to the 34 millimeter large diaphragm capsule very easily. And I think that has to do with the kind of mounting system that they've chosen for the capsule, that the shock mount itself is not effective for this particular design of microphone. The microphone is just very resonant. And that leads me to my second concern about this microphone. When I listen to my voice on this microphone, it highlights the graveliness in my voice. Now, I'm an older man. I haven't smoked my life, but I do have a gravelly voice. As I've used this microphone on a variety of different podcasts, I keep hearing what I thought was the lower register growling in my voice. And I kept trying to correct for it in the EQ by reducing the lower end frequencies to, not highlight that, but it wasn't making any difference. And then I realized what was going on. The actual vibrations, the actual resonance that I'm hearing in my monitors isn't really the lower frequencies. I mean, certainly the lower frequencies are indeed resonating, but so sometimes distortion is baked into a microphone in the design phase, in the electronics, whether it's on purpose or by accident and then perceived as a benefit to the microphone. It's often there. That coloration of something that is essentially noise is seen as a value. For example, on the Shure SM58, the higher frequencies on a Shure SM58 is often described as sparkle. The high end has a sparkle to it, right? This is a coloration. This is essentially a distortion that is there, that the microphone's capsule introduces into the resulting sound that comes out of the microphone and goes into your amplifier, right? That you end up hearing. But that sparkle is seen as a benefit. It's not the only microphone where that type of introduced distortion is perceived as a positive. But here's what I will tell you. It is a very fine line between sparkle and distortion, right? Between coloration and noise. And I think this is what I'm picking up on here. So I've been using this microphone for more than a week on a variety of podcasts as my driver, as my daily driver. And I've heard what I felt was an over-accentuation of the graveliness in my voice. It's not that I have a hugely gravelly voice, but there is some growl in my voice. And this microphone really enhances it to the point that I found it less character and more unwanted distortion. And so I did the thing that I don't like doing, and I tried to fix it through EQ. And in the process, and here, let me show you. I'll go ahead and bring up my software. I'm just going to go ahead and use the basic software that comes with the Vocaster, which is the interface that I am currently using. So this is my Vocaster Hub software, right? And this is the CAD E50. I'll point out a couple of things here. I've boosted it a little bit. Honestly, you can decrease the sensitivity of the microphone and you can get a little proximity to it, which is what I've done here. And I'll come back to me real quick. So you can see that I'm actually closer now to the microphone. I think the problem is this just highlights how bassy this microphone is. And in fact, if you do some research online, you'll see that a lot of reviewers for years have said about this microphone is a microphone that you want to be back 6-8 inches from. You want to bring your gain up a little bit to get you closer, not to the point that your room is overpowering, but this is a microphone that's going to pick up room noise. My room, for example, I have sound treatment in this room, and not a ton of it, but it's decently treated. On this microphone, more than my other condenser microphones in my kit that are part of my personal kit, this really picks up more of the room. Is that a bad thing? No, it's part of the sound. It's part of the coloration. You may not like it. I may not like it. So therefore, it's not a mic that I would choose to use because of that. But not everybody is the same. And there's nothing wrong with picking up the characteristics of your room. Honestly, for your listeners, it's much more pleasant to get a little bit of room noise in the recorded signal. It makes them feel like they're there, that they're in a real space. The only space you should feel like it is just dead is literally in a recording booth. And a recording booth, as a dead space goes, is not a pleasant thing to listen to long term. People want to, it's not natural to be in such a dead space. The advantage of a acoustically dead space or a deader space is so then you can apply processing after the fact. You can make your recorded signal, which is in that dead, uninfluenced space, be able to be whatever the client, the producer wants it to be after they get it and they start working on it in post, right? That's the advantage of that. But that kind of space, honestly, becomes very boring and very acoustically exhausting as people listen to it. Too much. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of room character. That's my opinion. You feel free to disagree. In fact, if you do, let me know in the comments below. This microphone is a quiet microphone. It's about 14 decibels of self noise, which is pretty quiet. So you can see I am about, I'm estimating here, somewhere between 35 and 40% on my gain. Not a lot of gain, and I'm about 6 inches back, and I am talking slightly over the top of the microphone with the microphone pointing down on my chest. I think for my voice, and if you have a voice similar to mine, this is optimal positioning. But you might have picked up on my third issue, which is that graveliness that I was talking about. That graveliness, as I was to discover, is not in the bass frequencies. I mean, yes, it's there in my voice, but that's not the particular set of frequencies, the distortion that I was hearing. But watch what happens when I start cutting out the bass frequencies. This is essentially a high pass filter, right? But it's not taking care of that noise. In fact, if you listen to the mid range, right, as I talk, you're going to hear more of that vibration, because now that it's not being covered by the natural vibration that exists in my voice. This particular distortion, this particular graveliness that I hope you're hearing, I'm hearing it on my monitors. This is actually being introduced in the microphone itself. And I know this because I have lots of other microphones that I talk on all the time, and I don't hear this. This is not an aspect of my voice. If it is, they don't accentuate it the way that this one does. I think it's actually, there's some resonance going on in these frequencies that likely has to do with the capsule and the capsule mounting system and the chassis, right? So now I'm going to go one step further. Let's go back to the software, and I'm going to turn down the mid bass. So now suddenly we're just talking more of the mid range, right? And again, I haven't cranked up the gain. The gain is exactly where it was when I started this process. It's a little high, but I'm not over talking and I'm not clipping. So you can hear though that mid range, and it's actually mid high frequencies where this is happening, where this distortion is happening. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to turn down the mid range, and we're just on the highs, and suddenly it drops. And this is what tells me that this effect, this distortion, is not primarily on the high end. It is more toward the mids. I'm going to bring the mids back up here. Here we go. There, the mids are coming back up. I'm going to turn the highs down, and here we go. And now I'm really going to blow your minds. I'm going to crank all the way. All right. Now suddenly you can hear it. You should be able to hear that distortion. It's all it's all around there. All right, now nobody is going to be doing their EQ this way, but my point is that it's in this range. And this is a wide range because this microphone, this EQ that's in the software in the Vocaster, it's a 3-band EQ. So this is a wide range of mid frequencies, but I hope you can hear the distortion that I'm hearing. This is it. This is the sound. Mah, 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 wah, wah, wah. Anyway, this is not something, even bringing down, let me bring down the mid-range here. Here we go. I'm bringing down that mid-range. I've turned it all the way down. Now everything has gotten way muddier than it should get. The bass frequencies are still cut, but man, it's still there. It's still there. It's like it's in between the mid and the high adjustments on this software. And yes, if I pulled out a more extensive EQ, I could probably isolate it, but I don't think it's a very limited range of frequencies that this vibration that I'm picking up, this distortion, is on. I think it's across a wide range of frequencies. And while I might be able to EQ some of it out, it is just always there. And that's my problem with this microphone. It's always there. Once I heard it, I couldn't stop hearing it. And as much as I like how pleasant the bottom end, all right, I'm going to go back here to factory. All right, this is all processing off. As much as I am able to get this microphone to sound very decent, I'm going to bring the gain down just a little bit here and bring it. All right, as much as I can get this microphone to sound very, very decent, with a little bit of distance, with a little bit of tilt. But what I can't live with is the fact that there is that constant distortion in the upper mid frequencies that never goes away. I can diminish it, but I can't make it go away. And you might not be hearing it on normal settings. So you might say, hey, Phil, what does it matter if we can't hear it? I can hear it. And, you know, YouTube is not the only thing that I do. And so if I were using this for recording music, recording one of my songs, no, because, you know, the reason you may not hear it, the reason my friends that I tried to get to hear it could not hear it, was because I think once it goes through the YouTube meat grinder, you know, it's hamburger. It's never going to go back to being steak. It is just hamburger. It can be a really tasty hamburger with nuance, but it's hamburger. Do I think this microphone is worth $56.99? Well, this is where it gets tougher. For my voice, no. No, I won't, because I can't stop hearing that distortion. If you're, for example, doing voiceover work and you're submitting your files to a producer, they're going to hear this, right? And they're not going to want to take the time to try and fix it. And honestly, I don't think they're going to be able to fix it. So no. And this really isn't a voice. Maybe that's what this comes down to. This isn't a voice microphone. I think this microphone certainly, it's great for, I think, instruments. It sounds great on guitar. It would sound great on a keyboard, not a keyboard, excuse me, a piano. I would imagine it's a fantastic drum mic, cymbal mic, a tom mic, a kick drum mic. For vocals and for spoken word, no. If you have $56 to spend on this microphone, that's $56 you can spend on a different microphone. This is a discontinued microphone. Why did they discontinue it? I don't know. I don't have any insight into CAD. But certainly if I were an engineer at CAD, I would not be pleased with what I discovered. Also to Bark over at Obscure Mics, he was the first one that I saw make a note of it. This microphone looks an awful lot like another microphone, and you should check out Bark's video. It's a great review. He's got a couple of them up there. This right here, this is, my God, it is almost identical as far as the physical structure, the way it's built, the design. I actually like the coloring of the H&A better. This is a microphone brand that is owned by the good folks over at Adorama. This particular one is also discontinued. You can't get it except as a used microphone. So you're not going to see the CAD E50 version of this or the H&A version of this microphone. Here's the thing though. I don't think that this microphone was built by CAD, and I certainly don't think that this microphone was built by H&A. Adorama is a retailer. Chances are what we're dealing with here is a common source, right? These microphones came out around similar times, and it is a variation of an AKG C414. So I can very well see where Adorama and CAD found a supplier, probably in Guangdong in China, and said, we want an AKG style microphone. What do you got? And what you ended up with was two different unrelated customers of this unnamed Chinese manufacturer who got different color variations of the same microphone. And I say that because, as Bark pointed out in his review, they're not only a very similar look, they're very similar specifications. I'm pretty sure that these are the same microphones, come out of the same factory. And now they don't, unless somebody else has gone to that microphone manufacturer and said, hey, we would like an AKG C414 style microphone. What do you got? And guess what? They got something. E50, Equitek 50, RIP, because you're discontinued. But if you are thinking about grabbing one of these on Amazon, I wouldn't. I just don't think it's there. Not unless that's what you're looking to do. Not unless you're looking to actually add that mid to mid-high distortion into whatever you're recording. Which, you know what, you can do that in post. Why would you want the microphone to do it all the time? But hey, if that's what you're looking for, I'm not here to yuck your yum. You do you. But for me, I'm going to have to say no on the CAD E50. Fortunately, CAD is an amazing microphone maker. They make one of my favorite microphones as far as flexibility goes, the M179. I've got a review of that coming up. It's got infinite polar pattern settings on it, which is great. So there's lots of options that you can get from CAD that are better than this discontinued piece of equipment. I'm Phil, the Big Geek. If you liked this video, if you got something from it, if you enjoyed it, if you want me to make more, then please give it a thumbs up, click like, share this video with your friends, recommend my channel, like and subscribe, comment down below because I want to know what you think. I really want to know what you think. I'll respond to you, I promise. So, and thanks. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching my content. Click the notification bell. Do all those things. They cost you no money and only a couple of seconds of time, and it helps me grow the channel, and it helps me make more content like this. All right, that's it. I'm Phil, the Big Geek. This is Geek Omelet. Thanks a lot for sticking with me all the way to the end, and you take care.